Welcome back, my friends. I do apologize for the delay. There was problem with Vampire's internet box yesterday. When it rains at Castle Vampire, internet box go crazy. It don't want to work. The writers get to vet and they say, hey, Vampire, we're taking vacation. And Vampire can't upload the video. So I call internet box place and I say, hey, Vampire's internet box don't work. And they say, wait, we sorry, Vampire, don't bite us. We're working on the problem and we will have it up as soon as we can. But by the time soon as we can came, Vampire had to go to work. Yes, Vampire has to hold a job. Yes, I work at the hospital. That's where I get my clients. Yes. Gives me access to all the clientele that I need. Yes. I work in the hematology department. I taste in it. Yep, that's A positive. That's B positive. Oh, yes. Yes. That's what Vampire does. No, I don't work in the hematology department. I don't work in the hospital. Yes, I do. I work in the hospital. I'm not tell you what I do, though. Yes. But anyway, I had to go to work because I had to pay the internet box bill. Had to pay for Castle Vampire. You saw the movie about Manito Kitty Mickey? Yeah, I had to pay for his food. Yes, Kitty Mickey likes the food because he can't eat the mousey on TV. He tries. So anyway, so I do apologize for the delay. Getting the fur in my mouth. So anyway, we're going to be continuing with Friday Night Frights, called Saturday Scares today. We're not going to be reading from Mr. James' book today. We're going to be continuing with more scary stories to tell in the dark by Alvin Schwartz and Stephen Gamel. Yes. We jump back and forth between Mr. James. M.R. James, sorry, not Mr. James. I got corrected on that before. It's M.R. James. Good author, by the way. He's a very good author. Scary books, too. Okay, so enough fang flapping. So here we go. This one is called Clinkety Clink. Don't drop it in the sink. I just added that. It's called Clinkety Clink. An old lady got sick and died. Uh-oh. That happens. She had no family, no close friends. So the neighbors got a grave digger to dig a grave for her. That's the right thing to do. You don't want her to stink up the place. And they had a coffin made. And they placed her in the living room. What? They went through all of that to have a grave dug for her and they put her in the living room? That seems a little backwards. As was the tradition, they washed her body and dressed her in her best clothes and they put her in the coffin. Okay, this is starting to make sense. When she died, her eyes are wide open, kind of like that. Staring at everything but seeing nothing. The neighbors found 2 old silver dollars on her dresser, and they put them on their eyelids to keep them closed. And that's also to pay the ferrymen on their way over to the other side. They lit candles and sat up with her so that she would not be lonely on the first night that she was dead. That's very nice. You don't want you to be lonely in your first night of death. The next morning, the preacher came and said a prayer for her. Then everybody went home. Later, the grave digger arrived to take her to the cemetery and bury her. He stared at the silver dollars on her eyes, and he picked them up. Oh, how shiny and smooth they were. How thick and heavy. They were beautiful. Oh, you better not, gravedigger. He thought, just beautiful. He looked at the dead woman with her eyes wide open. He felt she was staring at him, and she was, you stingy, selfish, Watching him hold her coins, she was. It gave him a creepy feeling, as it should. He put the coins back on her eyes. Put back on those eyes of hers to keep them closed. But before he knew it, his hands reached out again and grabbed the coins. He stuck them into his pocket. You dirty blugger, you. Then he grabbed a hammer and quickly nailed shut the lid. Tap, 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 just like that. Now you can't see anything, he said to her. Then he took her out to the cemetery and buried her as fast as he could, because those coins were burning a hole in his pocket. When the gravedigger got home, he put the 2 silver dollars in a tin box and shook it. Clunk, 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 clunk. Right? The coins made a cheerful rattling sound, but the gravedigger wasn't feeling cheerful. He has a soul after all. He couldn't forget those eyes looking at him. But then it got dark. A storm came up, and the wind started blowing. It blew all around the house. It came in through the cracks and around the windows, down the chimney. Bzzoo, it went. Busy, bzzoo. The fire, it flickered and flipped. The gravedigger threw some fresh wood on the fire and got into bed and pulled the blanket up to his chin. The wind kept blowing. Bazoo, it went. Bazee, bazee, bazoo. The fire flared and flickered and casted evil-looking shadows on the wall. Sounds like my kind of fireplace. The gravedigger laid there thinking about the dead woman's eyes staring at him. Oh, you shouldn't do that, man. Oh, you'd be up all night. The wind blew stronger and louder. The fire flared and flickered and popped and snapped. And he got more and more scared. I would too. Suddenly, he heard another sound. Clinkety clink, clinkety clink, it went. Clinkety clink, clinkety clink. It was the silver dollars in the tin box. Hey, the gravedigger shouted. Who's taking my money? It's not your money. You see Slady's money right here. You thief, grave robber, you ghoul. But all he heard was the wind blowing, bazee, bazee, bazoo. And the flames flared and flickering and snapping and popping, and the coins going clinkety clink, clinkety clink. He leaped up out of bed and chained up the door. Then he hurried back. His head barely touched the pillow when he heard clinkety clink, clinkety clink. Then he heard something way off in the distance. It was a voice saying, where is my money? Who got my my money? Who, are you an owl? And the wind blew, bazee, bazee, bazoo. The fire flared and flickered and snapped and popped. And the money went clinkety clink, clinkety clink. The grave digger was really scared by now, soiling his drawers and everything. He got up out the bed again and piled up all the furniture around the door. He put on a heavy iron skillet over the tin box. Then he jumped back into bed and covered his head, but Santa Claus wasn't coming that night. But the money rattled louder than ever, and away off a voice cried, "Give me my money, oh, God, my money, oh." The wind blew and the fire flared and flickered and snapped and popped, and grave digger shivered and shook and cried, "Oh, Lordy, Lordy, yeah, you better start praying, you schmuck." Suddenly the front door flew open. It walked the ghost of the dead woman with her eyes wide open like this, staring at everything but seeing nothing. Kind of like your students do. If you're a teacher, you know that look your students give you when you try to explain a lesson? Yes, Vampire was a teacher once. And the wind blew and blew and blizzard and stuff like that. Bazee, bazee, bazoo. And the money went clinkety clink, clinkety clink. And the fire flared and snapped and popped and flickered and snapped and popped. And the ghost of the dead woman cried, "Oh, where is my money? Who got my money? Who? And the grave digger moaned, "Oh, Lordy, Lordy." The ghost could hear her money going clinkety clink, clinkety clink in the tin box. But her dead eyes couldn't see the box. So she reached out with her arms and tried to find it. And the wind went bazee, bazee, bazoo, and the mighty rattled clinkety clink, clinkety clink, and the fire flared and flickered and snapped and popped. And the grave digger shivered and shook and moaned, "Oh, Lordy, Lordy." And the woman cried, "Give me my money, give me my money, hoo." Who has her money? You! Give it back to her. You know who? I'm looking at you. Yes, you. You give her money right back. You give, you. Yeah. You know who. Yeah. That's right. Okay. Another story. Look at the artwork on that one. I love this artwork. Good artwork. She was spitting and yowling just like a cat. Just like that. The tales in this chapter are about empty trunks and a neighbor who turns into a cat and stuff like that. Okay, this one's titled The Bride. Okay, this is a whole different chapter about scary stuff like that, okay? That's what this is called. Okay, this is The Bride. Well, Vampire knows about the brides. I have a bunch of them. That's why I have to have a job in the hospital. I have a lot of brides to pay for. The minister's daughter had just gotten married. My hair's in my face again. Oh, such beautiful hair, too. Oh, yeah. Hard to manage, though. The minister's daughter had just gotten married, and after the wedding ceremony, there was a great feast with music and dancing and contests and gaming and even old children's games. Oh, that's all fun and stuff. When they got to playing hide and seek, the bride decided to hide in her grandfather's trunk up in the attic. Uh-oh, I see where this is going. She's going to find the old lady's coins, right? They'll never find me here. But see, she thought, and she climbed into the trunk and the lid shut down, crack, right on top of her head, and she fell unconscious inside. Oh, geez. Cracked her coconut. Ow. Dang. The lid slammed shut and locked too. Oh, bugger me. No one ever knew how long she had been calling out for help or how long she struggled to free herself from that tomb. But everyone in the village was looking for her, and they looked almost everywhere. But no one thought to look up in the trunk. After a week, her brand new bridegroom and the others gave her up for lost. Good thing you had a good life insurance policy. Years later, a maid went into the attic. Don't you think there'd be a stink or something coming up from there? Years later, a maid went up into the attic looking for something she needed. Okay. Then she really smelled it. Maybe it's in the trunk. Maybe. Okay. And she opened it and screamed. There lay the missing bride in her wedding dress. But by then, she was only a skeleton. No kidding. She got smacked in the head, knocked out. She was laying up there in that trunk. Of course she's going to be dead. Who was the genius who thought that one up? Well, she laid up in there and she was just getting food fed to her the whole time, and she got all fat. Come on. Yeah, of course she's going to be a skeleton. It's a good story though, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry, Vampire had to ruin that one. Okay, this is another one called Rings on Her Fingers. Look at these one. Oh, scary. Oh, big scary moon like we had the other night. Big scary full moon. Rings on her fingers. Daisy Clark had been in a coma for more than a month when the doctor said that she had finally died. She is buried on a cool summer day in a small cemetery about a mile from her home. May she always rest in peace, her husband said. But she didn't. Late that night, a grave robber with a shovel and a lantern began to dig her up. Oh, you guys, what is it with you? You didn't learn about the guy with the coins? Since the grave was still soft, she quickly reached into the coffin and got it up. His hunch was right. Then it moved to the left. Then his hunch moved to the right again. Oh, his hunch was correct. Daisy had been buried wearing two valuable rings. A wedding ring with a diamond in it and a ring with a ruby. That glowed as though it were alive. Oh, I like those kind of rubies. The thief got down on his knees and reached to the coffin to get the rings, but they had stuck fast to her fingers. So he decided the only way to get them off was off of her fingers is with a knife. Oh, dude, you scumbag. Then he cut into the finger with the red wedding ring, and it began to bleed. Yeah, corpses do bleed. Okay, contrary to popular belief, blood does still come out. Okay, even though the heart does cease to pump, blood does still come out. All right, but Daisy Clark began to stir. Oh, it's one of those cases. Okay. Suddenly she sat up terrified. The thief scrambled to his feet and accidentally kicked over the lantern, and the light went out. Oh, you dirty bum, you're going to get it now. And he could hear Daisy climb up out of her grave as she moved past him in the dark. He stood there frozen with fear, clutching his knife in his hand. You know, that's my favorite trick that I do with people too. You know, they think I'm dead and I'm laying under my grave and they hear I'm buried with a bunch of stuff. Then they come and dig me up. It's a different story. I bite them. Yeah, you know, I call that a quick snack. When Daisy saw him, she pulled her shroud around her and asked, "Who are you?" And the grave robber heard this corpse speak. He ran. Daisy shrugged her shoulders and walked on. Never once looked back. Boy, that's some weird sense of denial right there. I just crawled out of the grave wondering who this dude was, and I just keep on going. But in his fear and confusion, this thief fled in the wrong direction, pitched headlong into the grave, and fell on his knife and stabbed himself. Good for you, you idiot. You had it coming. Well, Daisy walked home. The thief bled to death. You earned it. You gave for robbing graves. Okay, that's it for right now. Oh, vampire. Thanks you guys very much for your patience, and sorry the internet machine broke and all that stuff, but I made up for it. I try to get this out to you sooner. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love Friday Night Frights and Saturday Scares today. I hope you enjoyed it too. I appreciate you tuning in every year for a vampire show. It's fun. I enjoy doing this. Enjoy entertainment and stuff like that. So you guys, you take care. Remember, stay safe. Be kind to everybody. Be kind to yourselves, your puppies, your kitties, and stuff like that. And please leave me a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Take care. We'll see you next week for another Friday Night Frights. Hopefully not Saturday Scares. So bye-bye. Go home. Bye-bye.